theme here today. Okay, I'm dressed up. I'm Carrie. What does Carrie do in Sex and the City? She has a lot of shitty dating experiences. Whether it be shitty men that she's with in a relationship, getting ghosted, going on dates that are horrific. So that brings us so that's really on brand for today's episode, which is dating and relationship horror stories. And it's going to get pretty spooky. If you're not watching this on YouTube and you're just listening, I thank you so much for being here, but I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need to ask you to hop on over to YouTube so that you can kindly watch the video and see how much effort that I put into my hair, okay? The rest of the costume, you can take it or leave it, but the hair was not easy. I just want to take a minute to say that I don't have a small barrel hair curler. So I had to wrap my hair around a pencil and then straighten the pencil with a hair straightener probably 400 times to get this look. So please don't leave me hanging. But today we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, which is dating and relationship horror stories. If you have been following me on social media, if you've been listening to the pod, you know that I've had a fair share of these myself, but I really wanted to hear from you guys today. So I asked the question to my audience on Instagram. Tell me about your own relationship horror stories, dating horror stories. I don't care if it's somebody you were married to. I don't care if it's just one date you went on. And you guys did not disappoint me, okay? We have a lot of really good material to get through today. But I'm going to start you guys off with what's probably my worst and most horrific dating relationship story. Now, it's been a long time coming. I've been teasing this for, it's going on a year. Again, if you follow me on social media, if you've been along for the ride, even if you're just new to the podcast, you've probably heard me reference it. The Nashville New Year's Eve breakup of 2025. 2024? It was New Year's Eve, so I guess it was technically 2024 going into 2025. Now, I've been teasing this for a long time because it is a hell of a story and also tiny bit dramatic to relive it. And kind of getting sick of talking about my ex, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, on one hand, I'm like, it's good material. He gave me a lot of good stuff to work with, and I should reap the benefits because I had to go through the horrors and trauma of living it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm sick of talking about him. It's mundane at this point to me. Like, ew, I don't want to give him any more attention. But this story needs to be shared. So I'm going to give it to you. And then we're going to hear from you guys. So let's just rewind back to the most horrific relationship dating night of my entire existence, which says a lot, okay? It is New Year's Eve 2024. I'm in Nashville. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background context here just to set the stage. So I've been dating this person for probably like 6 months off and on, and we had agreed in November to be in like an exclusive, serious, actual boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. He lived in the States, I live in Canada, so it's a long-distance relationship. And yeah, it was always tumultuous. I need you guys to know going into this story that he had been caught on a number of occasions, having full-on other girlfriends essentially in his life, a lot of girls on the go, a lot of red flags, if you will. Okay, so maybe this was some self-inflicted horror to a degree, but at this point, we're in a relationship. We had Christmas dinner with his family, several days prior. So we boarded the plane to Nashville. Even on the way there, I just remember we got in a fight because some random number sent me a dick pic on the plane, and I was like, oh my God, and I showed it to him because I was in shock, and he got so mad at me that he didn't speak to me for the entire flight. Literally just looked at his phone, probably texting other girls. In fact, it actually did come out later that he was literally DMing other girls. Anyway, we get to Nashville. We go for brunch. This is New Year's Eve. It's, the middle of the day. And I'm not drinking that much because I'm kind of like, well, I have to pace myself. I have to drink all night, right? It's New Year's Eve. I can't really do the whole day drinking thing. And I already have anxiety because I'm in a strange place with strange people. I don't really know any of the people that are there except for one of his friends who I've met quite a few times. So I would have considered him a friend at that point, but everybody else is like essentially a stranger to me. We go back to the hotel. I need to get ready for our evening out. And I forgot my phone at the restaurant we were having brunch at. So I'm like, can you go grab my phone so I can keep getting ready? Because he's kind of in a rush to get going, right? So he's really pissed off about this for whatever reason. He's like, storms off like I just asked him to go to war for me. I go up to the room, I'm ironing my dress, and he comes back, kind of throws the phone at me, and I go, "Are you okay? Like, you seem annoyed." And he goes, "Your existence annoys me." And I'm like, very, very well then. I'm gonna go keep getting ready. He goes into the bedroom and passes out, like shoes on, fully dressed, on top of the blankets, passes out. And I'm like, that's good. He probably needs to sleep it off a bit because I'm assuming he's pretty drunk, which is probably the reason he's speaking to me this way. I get ready and it takes me probably an hour and a half, right? I'm like doing full glam, updo. It's New Year's Eve. I'm going all out. Finally, I'm ready and I go to wake him up. He's not getting up. Think Joe from Love is Blind when they're in Mexico and he's delirious when she's trying to wake him up from a nap. That's what's going on here. Like, I literally was like, did he get drugged? Because he at one point like pointed to the closet and was like, there's a gremlin in the closet. And I was like, what are we doing? There's definitely no gremlin in the closet. Like, you know? So this is what I'm experiencing at this point. I call his friend who's staying in the same hotel. I'm like, I don't know what to do. He's like, let him sleep it off. Come down to our suite for a drink. So I go back in. I tell him, listen, I'm just going to go down. I'm going to have a drink with your friends. And this really pisses him off. So much so that it wakes him up. Okay. And I'm like, great, let's go together. I really didn't want to go alone anyway. And as we're leaving the hotel room, he's like, okay, you're finally ready. Let's go. And I'm like, what? Like, I've been waiting for you. And he's like, what are you talking about? I came back to the room and you were ironing your dress. So I laid down for 15 minutes. I didn't even sleep. I'm like, it's been an hour and a half and I just went through hell trying to wake you up. But I'm like, okay, whatever. So we go down to this room and there's a handful of people there, like 4 or 5 people, two of which are these women I've never met before, but they know my guy. One of them hugs me, hugs him. She's very friendly. The other one is being kind of standoffish and weird. And I immediately clock like a strange vibe. The 2 of them go back in, like lock themselves in the bathroom or bedroom to continue getting ready, whatever. At this point, I notice my guy starts clearly trying to play it off as though we're not really together. Like, I sit down next to him, he gets up and walks away. Like, I stand next to him, he goes somewhere else. He's kind of giving more attention to everybody else but me. And I'm like, what's going on here? So we go out to dinner and we get to the restaurant. I noticed that he's still like giving this one girl, the one who had been being kind of weird, just more attention than he's giving me. And like, I know this sounds maybe insecure or crazy, but you know, he's filling her drink up every 2 seconds. Meanwhile, my drink is empty for 45 minutes. He's like, have you tried the fish tacos? I'm going to save some fish taco for you. I'm like, could I get a little fish taco? Like, please, sir, may I have some more? Me, your girlfriend? So this continues on. Now, a little bit of a background story, just quickly. A couple weeks prior to this, we had been in Florida together in Tampa. And he left Tampa to go to Miami for the weekend for a friend's birthday party. A girlfriend. And I had said, like, why am I not coming with you? Like, we're both already in Florida. Why am I going home to Canada instead of spending the weekend with Miami and you, spending the weekend in Miami with you? And he was like, well, it's a party. I can't just invite random people. And I was like, okay, I'm your girlfriend, not random people, but got it. And he went and partied and like didn't talk to me the entire weekend. And that was a whole other fight. So a little bit of background there. Okay. So we're at this dinner. I'm starting to get more and more pissed off because I'm like, what's going on here? Why is this my life right now, right? And I could give you so much more detail, just little things that are going on this night, like little things he's saying and doing. And for example, like at one point at the table, they're all talking about some girl they know from where they live in the States, and he's like, "Oh, that girl's crazy. Let me show you." And he pulls up his Instagram and pulls up DMs from her, and he's responding to them. And this had been the prior day, like when we were flying to Nashville. he was messaging this girl and she was saying like, oh, I want your attention. And he was like, you probably get plenty of attention. And I'm like, why are you messaging that to this girl? Anyway, just like little things. I'm just getting more and more annoyed. And so at one point he leans over the table and he says to the girl in question, who's being a bit weird, he says to her, oh, by the way, they never charged me for that thing at 11. And I'm like, 11 is in the nightclub in Miami? My heart's racing. I'm like, was this fucking girl on my... So I like lean over and I whisper to him, was she in Miami with you? And he's like, oh yeah. Yeah, she came through. Oh, she came through. Okay. So you know where my mind goes. I'm like, A, this girl was invited and I wasn't. B, did you fuck her? Like, did you have sex? Is that why this is such a weird situation? Is that why she's being so odd? Because she's like, oh, this guy has a girlfriend? Like, and again, you might be thinking like, that's crazy. No, with this guy, it's really not crazy. It's pretty much bang on. So the night goes on. I'm really doing my best to suppress how crazy I want to act, okay? We go to Barstool because that is where we are spending the evening. And we're kind of like back in the green room behind the stage, whatever, because he and his friends know the DJs. Again, he's just paying attention to these girls, not really acknowledging me. You know, I sit beside him. He gets up. He sits in another chair. And it gets to the point where he can tell that I'm upset. And he goes, what's wrong? Like, why are you acting like this? And I simply respond with, you're not giving me the vibe that you want me here. I said, I gave up spending New Year's Eve with my family and my friends at home to come be with you. Because, by the way, he had not like planned this trip with me. He already had a boys trip basically planned to go to Nashville for New Year's Eve and was like, well, if you want to spend New Year's Eve with me, you can come. Otherwise, we're not spending it together. This is what I'm doing. So obviously, like, kind of reluctantly agreed. I didn't really want that to be the way we spent our first New Year's as a couple together. But this guy lives for clubbing, so shouldn't have been a surprise. So I say that to him. I say I gave up, my friends and family, being at home, to spend New Year's Eve with you. And he says, go be with them then. Okay. So at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not really having such a good time, I've got no one else to lean on here. I don't have like my own friend to go talk to or anything. I'm in this strange place with these strange people. So at this point, we're looking at like 20 minutes till the ball drops. Okay. I'm like, I don't want to be fighting with the only person I know in this fucking country or city right now on New Year's Eve at midnight. So I try to make up. I'm like, can we just please talk about this, get through it? No. He's like, I'm done with you. And I'm like, are you breaking up with me? Like, you're done with me? He's like, I'm just done with this shit. And I'm like, can you tell me what that means? And he says to me, you're not fun anymore. My friends don't think you're fun anymore. You're not the girl I fell in love with. I'm like, that's correct. I'm the literal anxious fucking mess that you made me. Of course, I didn't say that. I was just like, can we fix this? Can we just have a fun night? He's like, I'm going to have a fun night, but I don't care about what you do. So at this point, I'm kind of like begging, okay? Let's just put it simply. I'm basically begging for us to make up. I'm like, I don't want to do this tonight. I don't know anybody else here. I don't know what to do. I don't have anywhere to go. Like, do you want me to leave? And he's like, I don't care what you do. Like, I'm over it. And he's just walking away, like, will not give me the time of day. And I'm like, listen, like, please, can we just make up? He's like, no. So I say to him, well, you're giving me no choice but to leave. And if I leave, like, we're done. Like, I'm not going to forgive you for this. And he's like, I don't care. So I go down to the door. I'm trying to get an Uber. Of course, there's no Ubers because it's midnight on New Year's Eve in Nashville. And I remember I was just crying so hard, and I'm on the phone with one of my friends. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's no Ubers. And this guy comes up to me. He's like trying to hit on me. I'm like, can you not fucking see? I'm like literally crying my eyes out. How about, are you okay? And I just remember looking up at the stage and seeing him with a bunch of like dollar bills, and he's throwing them in the air and he's chugging champagne and he's got the biggest smile on his face you've ever seen. And that image is just burned into my brain because it felt like I came out of my body and levitated above myself and watched this scene of like me, this like, emotionally battered and beaten fucking woman who's been going through hell in this relationship and dynamic with this man for months. And I'm a shell of myself at this point, right? Like, I'm not even me anymore. And I'm there crying, helpless. And he's standing on the stage throwing money, drinking champagne, like I never existed, right? Like genuinely no thought of me. I don't exist at this point. I can't get an Uber. I'm trying. I have to tuck my fucking tail between my legs and walk back up, go up, tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, could we please make up? I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I know no one here. I can't get an Uber. I don't even know how to get back to the hotel. He looks at me. He goes, I don't care, and turns around and walks away. So I walk myself back to the hotel, crying my eyes out. I get back there and I'm like, I certainly can't stay here. I don't want to be here when he gets back. I pack my things. I go to the airport, and I had to stay at the airport for I think 9 hours or 8 hours. And I got one of those little pods that you can sleep in because the Nashville airport has those. And I just remember going in that pod and the woman who was working giving me the key and stuff, and I'm bawling my eyes out, hysteric. And I remember she didn't even say are you okay or anything. And I guess on one hand she's probably intimidated by the situation and Jesus Christ, this girl just needs the pod. But even after that, I'm walking through the airport, I'm waiting for my flight, waiting to board my flight. I'm sitting there and I'm just raw, bawling. Not a single person asked me if I was okay. And I think from that, I just learned if I ever see somebody that upset, I don't care where I am, what I'm doing, I will go over and just be like, can I do anything for you? Can I give you a hug? Can I call someone for you? Because it was so isolating to be in this the most mentally low place I've probably ever been, in this airport alone with no one, and nothing. And people are just the world is moving around you, nothing's happening, right? And I just remember sitting there waiting for my flight, and I ended up calling my mom, and she had to stay on the phone with me for 3 or 4 hours until I boarded. And I just remember looking at my phone and seeing his Snapchat and Instagram stories update, and he's out partying till 6, 7 in the morning. Never calls me, never texts me. And of course, I'm expecting to have a bunch of calls or texts when I get home, because I'm thinking he's going to get back to the room at some point and realize I'm gone. And, maybe he's concerned about me. Did I get home okay? Nothing. I think I get a text from him the next day, a hey, and watched as he went out partying again that night in Nashville with the same people and, whoever else, whatever other girls they'd met that night. But yeah, that's my story. I hope that I hope I did it justice in telling it, because I feel at this point I'm a little bit numb to it. I've told that story so many times to people, and every time their reaction reminds me how fucked up it is, because as I tell it, I'm maybe you guys are gonna think I'm dramatic. Maybe it's not that bad. No, it's pretty fucking bad. And honestly, I feel I genuinely have PTSD, because even the other day I was watching Top Chef and they were oh, we're in Nashville, and they're showing all the scenery in Nashville, and my body was physically my heart's racing. I'm oh my God. Yeah, it was terrible. But I want to go into a little bit of a lighter note now. You guys, am I doing a good job being Carrie? Did I complain enough about the situation? Was I dramatic enough? I can only picture I can almost picture a scene in Sex and the City where she's this scene probably does exist, where she's in the airport in her, heels and dress from New Year's Eve, crying her eyes out, mascara all over her face. Now, mind you, I was not in my dress. I did change. I actually stole one of his sweaters from the room and wore that to the airport. Very comfy. Not so cozy when I woke up in the pod, sleeping in his sweater with his smell on it. And I'm wait, what is my reality? Not so good. So, okay. I hope that it lived up to the hype, because I've been teasing that story forever, and there you have it. But now I want to hear from you guys. You guys sent me some really, really crazy stories about dates and relationships that you've had that have gone absolutely sideways. And you know what? I'll let you guys be the judge if any of these are worse than what I just told you. Let's get into the Don't Think Deep Dive of the week for the spooky fucking Halloween episode. And by the way, all season I keep hearing spooky season. I'm yeah, every season, spooky season. When you have crippling anxiety and depression, every house is a haunted house when you're scared of your own brain. Okay? It's all terrifying. But this is our spookiest episode so far. I actually don't think that's true. We've gotten pretty deep. But okay, so let's get into these. First, we're going to hear from Kate.
So this was back in the days when Tinder, was the only dating app. And I met this guy. He was a new resident in town. He invited me out to a wine bar. He had a pretty good, pickup line on Tinder. And, I was like, okay. Met him at this cute little wine bar out by his place. We had a really, honestly, good time, good conversation. He made me laugh. I went back to his house, and one thing led to another, and I was naked and fiddling with his dick while he was like fiddling with his phone. And then I came back up to kiss him, and out of the corner of my eye I see my tits, and I'm like, what? And I do a double take, and his phone is propped up against a lamp recording us. Immediately I snatch the phone, delete the video that he was recording of me naked, and see 6 other videos of girls he immediately says are, ex-girlfriends or whatever. And meanwhile, I met this guy 2 hours ago. Yeah. I realized, maybe I shouldn't have been naked on the first date, but that's kind of besides the point. And got super weird and kind of just left. But yeah, he's a trauma surgeon now in Austin, Texas. Texted me the other day saying he had a book out. Hadn't heard from him in years. Yeah.
Did you say a book out? As in this man wrote a book and published it, and there are people reading it? Jesus Christ. Why is it always the doctors, the lawyers? They'll just give any profession to anyone these days. A trauma surgeon. Isn't that ironic, considering he inflicted obviously some psychological trauma onto you, and probably by the sounds of it many other women? What is he doing with these videos? I'm triggered. Okay, here's a question. Do you guys think that, is that illegal? Should you have lawyered up? Is it illegal for them to video you without consent? Is it illegal for them to distribute it? It's just so crazy to me. Wow. Okay. I really actually want to know, Kate, what you did in that scenario. I'm super curious as to whether or not you stormed out of the place and said fuck you, or did you try to keep the peace and not make it super awkward? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm such a people pleaser that in a situation like that, I honestly feel like I would have just probably not even said anything and then tried to recover it later and been like, oh, could you kindly delete that video? So sounds like you didn't, and you made him go into his phone and erase it right away, which good for you. That is the right move, because my approach probably wouldn't have worked. But I'm such an awkward conflict avoider that I feel like I would have just been like, oh, okay, well, I'll just finish up here, and then maybe later I'll text you and ask you to delete the video. I hate myself. All right. Thank you for that, Kate. That's truly insane. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I really hope you didn't text him back, and I hope his book fucking fails, and I hope he loses his trauma surgeon license. Not for killing someone on the table, but I don't know, maybe for people finding out he's a creep. Let's hear from Caitlin.
I started a relationship with a guy I met at a work event. He lived across the country. We were talking and texting
I just want to say, lived across the country or in another country? Red flag number 1.
A couple of weeks, and then I planned a long weekend trip to go visit him. I was there for less than 18 hours. I showed up and things were great. We were having a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden we weren't, for whatever reason that I still can't figure out. When I tried talking to him about it the next morning, he didn't want to talk. He said there was nothing to talk about. And I very quickly got uncomfortable, so I decided to leave. When I told him that was met with a shrug. And then as I'm leaving, I'm telling him goodbye, and he literally didn't say a word, just stared at me from the sofa. Oh, did I mention he also told me he loved me the night before? Yeah, fun times.
Okay, it's giving emotionally unavailable baby man. First of all, telling you he loves you the night before, It's either the worst love bombing I've ever heard in my life, or like just a very emotionally not grown person, because maybe in that moment he did feel like he loved you, but anybody with any like rational common sense would know, oh, probably too soon to be saying it. Okay, so this is giving me PTSD from my Nashville story. Like, it's just crazy that you flew all the way to see this person and he couldn't even have the decency to just give you a conversation about it. Or at the very least, pretend things are okay until it's time for you to go, and then be like, you know what, we should talk. I don't think this is going to work. You know, like, you flew to see him. You probably spent money. You obviously spent time. And he's just going to sit there. Like, again, it's just such avoidant behavior, like not willing to have a conversation, a tough conversation or conflict, and would rather just literally say nothing and watch you leave. I know you didn't give us this information, but I'm willing to guess he texted you a couple days later with some bullshit, because there's just no way. I'm sorry. Sorry it happened, but glad it happened because it's a great story for me. Okay. So far these are good, but I have to say I don't think I'm near as bad as mine yet. Is it selfish of me to say out loud? Let's hear from Allie.
Okay, so this is actually my friend's story, but she came home and gave me the tea after she went out on a date with a guy who had this cute wiener dog. They were supposed to go on a hike. In fact, they did go on the hike. But on the way there, he pulled out a little doobie and started smoking pot. And she was like, oh, oh, is that the vibe? And she doesn't smoke. I mean, like regularly, like once in a blue moon. But she was more concerned for the dog who's getting this secondhand smoke. Like, the poor little doggy is getting high before they go on the hike. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if that's like normal for some guys, just to like, hey, I'm gonna get intoxicated while driving you to this hike on our first date. Like, woohoo! Like, I feel like that's just a little bit too much of the whole let loose type of vibe. But to each their own, I guess.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that people would be divided on this, but if you don't smoke weed and somebody does that, yeah, no, thank you. Even if you do smoke weed and somebody does that, you might be thinking like, you know, odd thing to do without at least like broaching the topic and saying, hey, like, do you smoke weed? Because I do. Let's smoke a joint. And also, to your point, like driving intoxicated, I know like people who smoke weed would probably argue, oh, like you can drive high. Well, no, you actually can't, because you are technically intoxicated. Your judgment is impaired. And overall, for me, this is a huge no. Like, maybe if you're 19, maybe if you're in high school, you know, I probably would have thought nothing of this when I was 17, okay? But I'm assuming that they're not 17. And if this happened to me on a first date, I think I would literally, like, see, I said before, I hate conflict. It's so funny because, like, if somebody was recording me giving them a blowjob, I think I'd be like, I can't take the conflict. But if somebody smoked weed while driving, I'd be like, are you serious? I call them out for that, no problem. I don't know what that says about me. I need to have that conversation with my therapist. Thanks, Allie. I'm still winning here, you guys. Wow, not exactly like a contest you want to win, but okay, let's hear from Jay. I'm glad we get some guys in here as well.
Shit, I got cut off the first time. Okay, I'm a marriage and family therapist. I specialize in couples counseling. Super curious to see how many men will actually comment. I actually used to have a podcast as well. So just a quick, if you ever want to be on my podcast or have me on yours, I think you're probably one of the funniest, coolest people ever. But anyway, this is not about you or me. Oh, wait, this is about me. My craziest dating story was in my 30s. I was probably like on every app under the sun. I had never really like dated before. I had been in relationships, but I went on a date with a woman who I met on one of the apps, and she told me that she was trying to reunite with her father, who had been gone out of the picture for a while. And it turns out that her father had murdered her mother and had been in prison.
Oh.
And she was trying to work on forgiveness because he was getting out soon or something. And so she was really trying to work on reunifying with him and like working on their relationship. That was a pretty quick that date ended quick, and we did not see each other again.
Okay, but like the sex probably would have been crazy because like those daddy issues are. I'm joking. I'm not really joking. I'm joking. You know what though? Like someone like that would forgive you for literally anything though. You could literally get away with anything and she'd be like, I can forgive you. I forgave worse. I'm laughing and making jokes, but wow, that is really spooky season, right on brand for this episode because the horrors do in fact persist. I'm sorry, but I will say this is worse for her than for you because she has to live with the fact that her father murdered her mother. Like, not only is mommy dead, but daddy killed her. That's fucked. I can't even get into that. But like, yeah, learning that on a first date is heavy. It's heavy. I feel for this woman because obviously it was heavy on her mind, something she was working through. I hope she found the closure she needed, which I don't know if forgiveness would be the path I would see for myself in that kind of situation. But these things are obviously very complex. Okay, let's take one more. This is from Tyler, and you guys, wow, I feel now like my story was too traumatic and deep because these have been like a little more fun and flirty. Well, I say that, but then I'm like, is having someone record you during sex without your consent fun and flirty? I don't know that it is. Okay, Tyler, what's up? Let's see what he's got going on.
Back in May, I met this guy through your favorite platform, Facebook. He came on super strong. We were texting all the time. We spent whole days together. And when I would leave his apartment, I was still in the parking lot of his apartment complex when he would text me how much he missed me already. So after about a month of that, I decided to take him to a Pride event. And it was a drag show at a nightclub. So he spent the whole night walking around the club and drinking while he sent me to go get him and his friends water. And the few times I was able to actually see him while we were there, he was exchanging numbers with another guy right in front of me. And when I finally confronted him about it and how it made me feel, he said, it's not his fault he's so attractive, and I have no right to be jealous because we were just friends anyway.
Oh, I'm glad we're finishing on the note of gaslighting. Is anybody else feeling like there might be a fucking gas leak? Feeling a little lightheaded. We were just friends. It's hilarious. I don't know about you guys, but when I leave a friend's house, I don't sit in the parking lot and text them how much I miss them. Other than maybe a few times. That's crazy though. I really like these submissions. I love them, but I'm also like, I wish I had you guys on the phone because I want to ask, like, what did you do next? Did you leave? Did you ever hook up again? Did you go on to date him for a year? Anyway, I may never know, or maybe you guys will message me and tell me, but this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing some of my trauma. You know, if it's funny for you guys, maybe not funny, entertaining, then it was worthwhile for me. You know, makes a good story. And I think it was really fun hearing from you guys. I love knowing that everyone is in hell when it comes to dating and relationships. We're not alone. We're alone, but we're not alone in being alone. So on that note, happy Halloween from Carrie. And from me. And if you loved the show, liked the show, even if you hated the show, I don't care. Please do follow, rate, leave a review. And for this episode, I would love if you guys did check out YouTube because, like, again, this hair, okay? I put a lot of time into this. Leave a comment and say, I love your hair, Carla, or Carrie, or whatever. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great spooky Halloween, and until next Thursday, don't think too much. But if you do, at least you're in good company. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, my back. Oh, my ears hurt from the headphones. Where's my Herbie? Herbie.